If you find yourself constantly struggling to reach money goals, there actually is a surprising solution, and it might be easier than you think.
Hi, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality. Hope and I have set a lot of goals over the 35 years that we've been married. And we've set in place a strategy that helps us meet those goals.
We'll be giving you a specific example, a real life example from our goal setting process. And along the way, we'll show you where we met the mark and where we didn't meet the mark. And we want you to stick with us because at the end of the video, we will reveal whether we actually met the goal or whether we did not meet our goal. It all has to do with a system that we've set up that allows us to easily set quarterly, monthly, and weekly goals. Each of these goals interconnects with one another, and it creates what we like to call a ladder. And as you ascend the ladder, it makes it far more likely that you will actually reach your goals.
Hope mentioned quarterly goals. Well, let's take a look at those and what do we do to set those.
We actually have a worksheet that we work with every single quarter. We generally set no more than 3 to 4 specific goals every single quarter.
We want to create realistic goals. We don't want to just find a goal somewhere out in space and try to reach it. We're going to base it on past bills and trends. What has this been costing us in the past? How much energy have we used over the course of time that we're looking at here? Now, we picked utilities here because during this particular quarter, they tend to be lower anyway, because this is in between the winter furnace use and the summer air conditioning use. So we've really got kind of a leg up on this one already.
The other thing that might cause you to set a quarterly goal is the fact that all of a sudden you have a significant leap in what you're paying in that budget area. Let's just say all of a sudden you're realizing you're spending 30 or 40% more on the food you're buying for your family every single month. Well, that's sort of one of those red light warning signs, we call them, that allows us to say, wait a minute, let's figure out first of all, what's causing this, and let's set a goal to get it back in alignment with where we really want and need it to be.
Quarterly goals are broader than monthly and weekly goals, and we're going to show you how these goals all dovetail together. So let's look at our specific plans for utilities. Our goal for the quarter was to lower our utilities bills under $120 a month. So we have 5 steps that we put in place in order to reach that goal. Let's look at the first one. The first step was to review our savings strategies and write out a game plan by April 15th.
Putting a date on it is really, really important because work tends to expand to fill the amount of time allotted, right? If you say, I'm going to come up with a specific game plan for lowering this utility bill, and I'm going to do it by April 15th. Now, remember, the quarter we're showing you are the quarterly goals for the second quarter of 2023. So we're talking April, May, June. By the 15th of April, we gave ourselves no more time than that to come up with specific steps that we intended to take in order to make sure that those bills were lowered.
One of these steps was to avoid using the air conditioner. We have central air here in the house. Avoid using it until July 1st.
All right. Dun, 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 dun. One of us decided to break that goal before we met it. I own that. But in my defense, it was the 29th of June. And I was like close enough to July 1st.
It was hot, clammy, and humid. So I was in agreement with her.
Now, here's why we bring that up, because it was technically a miss from the goal that we set. It was a miss from the specific action steps that we had set in place that were going to allow us to meet that goal. We don't want you to feel like if you have to change, alter, remove, move back one of these steps that you're using to meet your quarterly goal, that you have failed. You haven't. All you've done is change the goal so that it meets the situation at hand, because life happens, guys.
Another strategy to meet this goal was to avoid using our electric oven. Now we have a big 220 volt electric oven upstairs, and we determined to use our most energy efficient appliance for doing most of the cooking, and Hope used the Instant Pot because we found out that that is the most efficient appliance for doing this.
Now, if you've not watched it, we actually did a video where we tested 4 kitchen appliances to see how much energy each of those appliances used when cooking a squash. And we found out the Instant Pot, y'all, sips energy compared to turning on that 220 volt oven. So one of our goals became, don't use the oven unless you absolutely have to.
In conjunction with this, we also limited the use of other high energy appliances. So we tried to stay off the microwave. We use the coffee pot only once a day. These are things that can draw a lot of current and bring that bill up.
Here was the game changer for us. This number 5 step that we intended to take. That was use fans in rooms instead of turning on the central air. Now, in truth, we use fans all through the summer in conjunction with central air. You know why? Because statistically, if you will use fans in the rooms that you're sitting in, you can raise your AC temperature up to 4 degrees with no loss of comfort.
At the moment, we have ours set at 79 degrees, and we've never had it set so high. But sitting in front of an oscillating fan, or if you have a ceiling fan, that's even better, really helps because now you're moving that air and that's causing some evaporative cooling.
Let's just quickly sum up this whole idea of quarterly goals. Quarterly goals are going to be pretty broad by nature. You're going to set no more than 3 to 4 quarterly goals, each of which is centered around a specific area of your budget that you would like to get more in hand or you would like to lower. Then, once you set those quarterly goals, you're going to write out 4 to 6 action steps. These are steps that you intend to take in order to support your progress toward reaching that quarterly goal.
What is a monthly goal and why do you need it if you have these quarterly goals? Well, I see this as kind of like the zoom feature on a camera.
Love it.
This allows you to zoom in a little and take a closer look at items that are going to be variable month by month. And you're going to hone in on these and make some more specific little goals and strategies in order to reach the larger one.
What did our utility bill goal look like when we look at one of the monthly goal sheets from the second quarter?
Let's take a look at the month of May. Now, May, we're not going to be using much heat, if any, and certainly we're not going to use the air conditioner. So our goal can be a little more aggressive in the month of May. We set a goal of $100 for the utility bill.
To be very clear, that utility bill, by the way, includes for us natural gas use and also electricity. So that's all of our utility bill compiled together. Why did we set it for $100? Because you notice that on the quarterly goal, it was they need to average no more than $120 across that 90-day period. Because when we received our first utility bill from the quarter in April, it was $133. And we thought, all right, if we're going to reach this goal of averaging no more than $120 for the quarter, we need to make sure that we're a little more aggressive in May than we were in April.
One of the ways that we did that was we looked at the kilowatt usage, and we found out that in the month of April, we were using 354 kilowatt hours. So we thought if we can reduce this to 300, that'll help us get toward that step.
We did 2 other steps. We really took a hard look at the utility bill and the usage for the month of April to try to figure out why it actually was $133 and not a whole lot closer to our $120 goal. And in conjunction with that, we looked at our daily usage and we saw spikes during specific hours of the day, spikes in the usage of electricity. We began to dialogue and ponder with one another, what is it that we are doing during those specific hours of the day that are causing those spikes in electric usage, and can we do something to modify that behavior? So as you can see, monthly goals are going to be based on how you're doing in your quarterly goal, and they're also going to be far more specific to that month of the year.
It allows you to make some small incremental changes. You're reevaluating your choices and you're making some adjustments. So the monthly goals allow you for some adjustments.
So why in the world? We've got quarterly goals. We've got monthly goals. Why do we need weekly goals? We call our weekly goals our big three. They're very, very specific to behavior that we want to change in that week. And we do not want you to let the whole idea of weekly goals freak you out, because this whole process of setting our big three weekly goals takes us literally no more than 10 minutes tops on a Monday morning to set the big three.
For the weekly goals, you're going to drill down a little bit more. Remember that zoom function on the camera. So now we're zooming in even more and honing in on some areas that we can make some micro adjustments. By the end of June, we had, as we mentioned, turn on the air conditioner. So the first step here was to raise the AC by 3 degrees. We placed fans in every room of the house so that our boys could have fans in their bedroom, and we had some in strategic places so we could get to this goal.
One of the things that you should notice about these big three goals, the weekly goals, is the fact that none of these goals should take any more than 5 minutes a day. Don't pick a weekly goal that is going to make you spend 2 or 3 hours on that goal that week, or you literally will not do it. Our big three goals are quick, easy, and they are something that we know from experience are going to help us save money.
Another step in the weekly process was to make sure that we talked to our boys about turning lights off. So we had to remind them several times, don't leave the bathroom light on, don't leave the hall lights on.
One of the things we implemented that was super easy and actually very effective, not only for the boys, but also for the other adults in the house, is the fact that sticky notes right next to a light switch, if you find yourself consistently walking out thinking, I left the light on again, I left the light on again, just put a little sticky note, especially if it's like a bright colored sticky note, right next to that light switch. And you're going to see it before you walk out of the room, and it's going to remind you, turn the light off. Simple, easy to do. That's an example of what the big three should look like.
The third step that we implemented, or actually Hope implemented, was to cook using primarily the Instapot. Now, we also use the gas stove a little bit. That doesn't use as much energy either. But what she did with the Instapot is she looked up specific recipes that she could use and cook on that instead of anything else.
And those recipes were specifically geared for ingredients that we already had in the house as well. Now you can easily see how those quarterly, monthly, and weekly big three goals, how those actually intertwine with one another and support one another so that it creates that ladder so that you can more efficiently and easily reach your goals every single quarter. If you want your very own copy of the forms we've been showing throughout this video, I put them all together into a planner. I'm calling it Goal-Wise, a Frugal Life Planner. I actually made 3 different designs for the planner. You can get your copy of that. I also added, yes, a couple of extra bonuses in there for you. And we're releasing it this week at a very special price. This price, guys, is only going to last for 2 weeks. So you're interested in having your own copy of my quarterly, monthly, and weekly goal planner, then take a look at it. It's Goal-Wise, a Frugal Life Planner. I'll leave a link for it in the description of the video.
And now, as we promised,
Drum roll.
did we reach the goal or not? Now we're talking about the quarterly goal that we set, which was to lower the utility bill under $120 a month. That would be the average. Did we do it? Yes, we did. We came in at $111.67 for those 3 months of April, May, and June.
Utility costs, that was our example. But there's another area that we've heard from countless viewers is really problematic for them right now, and that is the rising cost of food. We're actually feeding our family right now for 15% less than we did in 2022. Now, if you're wondering how in the world we are doing it, we did a video where we gave you our top tips and things that are working right now to keep grocery budgets under control. That video right over there.
Oh, almost. It's like sneezing. You don't quite get it out.
Sorry.